Hi there, everybody. I'm Kraig Kann. Right now, on this edition of Tracks to Success, this is the story of selling a product to the sharks. Our guest started a business when she couldn't find a place for her most prized family keepsakes. She put her college marketing degree and a 4-year leadership program experience for high-end students to the ultimate test and walked away with a trunk full of cash and a business that's now bringing in millions. It's called Petite Keep. It's not like it's been easy. Baby steps at every turn along the way. So how did she wow them on Shark Tank? And how can her story be something that you'll put in your own box to long remember? It's time to find out. Her name is Lindsay Mullenger. The inspiring story of her tracks to success starts now.
Welcome to Tracks to Success. This is the podcast that brings you inspiring people and their inspiring stories, how they found their way to the top, and how their path can help you do the same. Here's your host, network broadcaster, C-suite executive, best-selling author, speaker, and entrepreneur, Kraig Kann.
Hi, Lindsay. I hope you're doing great. This is absolutely awesome to have you on the program. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. I'm so grateful to be here.
Well, I want to tell everybody just how this thing happened. I don't even know if I told you how this thing happened, all right? So I, too, am a graduate of the University of Missouri. I'm sitting at home in my living room reading my most recent alumni membership magazine. And lo and behold, boom, there's an article about you in there, Shark Tank, your business, the whole thing. So I read the whole story and I'm like, wait a second. This is really cool. And I had to immediately become two things. Number one, I became a really proud alum because I think your story is fabulous. And number two, I had to become a recruiter like Eli Drinkwitz of the football team or Dennis Gates of the basketball team because I had to get you on this podcast. So clearly, I feel like I've got a 5-star recruit. Thank you.
Well, I'm very honored. So thank you so much. That's so kind
Yeah.
of you and such high praise.
Well, before we get into the journey, I want to ask you how often things like this are now coming at you. We're going to get into the whole Shark Tank thing. We're going to get into your business and all that, but you have got to be really busy because of all of this.
Our community has definitely lifted us up and made us feel really celebrated and just supported. So there have been opportunities to talk about Petite Keep and share our story, absolutely. But I do think there's a healthy balance of there's so much going on with the business, and so balancing all the things.
So tell me what that's been like. I mean, you're juggling now, trying to launch this business, Petite Keep, right? Growing it and all of that. And yet, because of you being on the program and all that happened, I don't want to say you've got like this little stardom thing going on, but you're certainly somebody that people would now recognize. How have you dealt with that?
Well, Petite Keep launched 5 years ago, and ever since the day we launched, we've been trying to find ways to tell our story, right? Because that helps
Hmm.
us connect
Sure.
with customers and helps us share our brand story, really have a seat at the table with our customer. And so I think we've thought of this certainly as just a part of the journey and a way that has helped us continue to amplify the brand and to amplify what we're doing and what we're building. And we've found it in a way that's been really positive.
Hmm.
So it's kind of it's infused with the growth, and it just supports the growth.
Okay, so let's not bury the lead here. Let's go back to Shark Tank, okay? Because that's where this
Yeah.
whole thing was really born. Led to the big break for Petite Keep. What was the attention like? What was the moment like of you feeling that type of pressure? You're putting your marketing degree to work big time.
Yeah, no, totally. It was truly a pinch me moment. I mean, I am not sure if you saw this or not, but I actually don't even remember if it came on the episode, but basically I was sharing with the Sharks, I watched every single episode. I myself am an avid Shark Tank fan. So it felt very full circle. But it was exciting. People have asked, were you nervous? Were you this, that, and the other? Absolutely did I feel these things. But I think the reality is I practiced, I prepared very hard. And so I think when it came to be game day, I was this is like such a special treat to get to go tell the world about Petite Keep. And I took it more as like a glass half full, and getting to share a story on a national platform.
What kind of practice? You just said I practiced, I got ready. How much
Yeah.
did you legitimately put into the moment, if you will?
Well, I'm not like, this well rehearsed like person that's on stage in theater and things like that. So definitely like when you come out and you like say your pitch and things like that, I like obviously
Mhm.
practice that in like carpool pickup line, like as I'm making breakfast for my children, like all the time, everywhere I was like rehearsing it in my mind. And then also just, I think a function of like me being deeply obsessed with the business and what I'm doing every single day is like making sure I knew my numbers, making sure I was like, but that I think comes as a function of just like, this is what I'm living every day. So it is like secondhand nature to talk about.
Yeah, and we'll talk more about that later. That's really cool about the car line and the kids and the whole thing. Let's talk about the person. Let's dive into your journey a little bit. The person who ultimately, had the drive and the confidence to come up with a business plan, to come up with a pitch, all that stuff. Was Lindsay Mullenger the child that always wanted to do that or no?
Um, yes, short answer. I mean, I remember like wanting to be Katie Couric and like do, kind of things like that. But I'd say the pursuit was never like Shark Tank per se. I think the pursuit has always been fulfillment and finding a way
Mm.
to really feel fulfilled. And so I certainly love like fast paced, action oriented moments in time. And I think that kind of correlates with something like this. But yeah, have always been type A and had a significant internal drive.
So with that, okay, you just mentioned internal drive, competitive drive. Did you play sports? Like, were you that person?
Yeah, I mean, I played sports through high school. I didn't play a sport in college. But I played multiple like lacrosse, field hockey, sports like that in high school. Yeah.
Okay. Marketing in college, the degree was one thing, but everything that I've read about you, you're giving a lot of the credit to this leadership program, 4 years that you were in for high achieving students. Tell me about that and how it changed you.
Of course, Cornell Leadership Program was absolutely life changing. I joined Mizzou's Business School out of high school with the reason I did was Cornell Leadership Program. Frankly, that drew me
Mm,
from other schools. Um, what I've shared in previous is that to me, representation is everything. Getting to like see and have access to like what you want to be, like how can you dream it if you can't see it? And so,
mm,
for me, CLP did that. Like they took us to New York and we got to go on Wall Street and like meet with bankers and meet with P firms and things that I had never even heard about or known were a career path before. CLP did that for us. And then, oh, by the way, they gave us the tools to succeed and the function, the education, things like that.
Tracks to Success is proud to have the support of Ahead, true innovators in premium headwear. For more than 25 years, Ahead has been outfitting golfers and supplying headwear for the game's most prestigious events. Head over to aheadshop.com and explore their incredible collection of major championship golf hats. And don't miss their lineup featuring your favorite college teams. If you're looking to dress for success, Ahead is the perfect brand for you. So think ahead and look for it at pro shops and special events across the country. And how about this? For listeners of Tracks to Success, Ahead is offering one of its biggest discounts ever. Visit aheadshop.com and use the code TTS30. That's TTS30 to get not 20% off your purchase, but 30% off. That's right, 30% off with code TTS30. Ahead, the finest in headwear and the official headwear of the Tracks to Success podcast. Available now at aheadusashop.com. We're talking with Lindsay Mullenger. She is the founder of Petite Keep, custom trunks. I need you to tell the world right now. You said you'd like to share the story. I want you to tell us what it is. What is the brand?
Absolutely. Petite Keep, we make custom keepsake trunks that people use in their highest of high moments. So, the largest portion of our customers are brides or parents of a new baby or, children young children, and they are choosing to come to Petite Keep to wrap up some of these like really big milestone moments. The
Mm-hmm.
special thing is like our Petite Keep trunks become a keepsake itself, right? So like they're each one is custom designed for that person. They build it right before their eyes on our website. And to us, that really like kind of, I would say, flushes out the meaning behind the brand, which is like we are building this for experiences. It's not the things you're keeping inside the trunks. It's recalling the experiences that you had that
Mm-hmm.
you're evoking as you open your trunk time and time again.
Experiences, great word. Let's talk about some of yours and we'll get back to the brand and the growth and all of that stuff, the millions that you're making now. You graduated 2010. You worked for Procter and Gamble. You worked for Duracell. All right. Here's some of the titles: account executive, brand manager, director of retail marketing, director of sales, um, e-commerce, B2B. That's a lot of different roles. I mean, you've got experience beyond words. So, what did you learn about yourself or about climbing the corporate ladder? What was the takeaway for you?
I loved my job at P&G and Berkshire Hathaway. I think that both had such positive, incredible work cultures, and I loved the brands I was working on. What it taught me was, first and foremost, it was just like very nice, like rigorous training out of college, like into the quote unquote real world. But there was a lot of like 101 schooling that I learned as I grew up there and like took on new roles. I also think though that like I was like interested in having like some kind of, building something from ground zero. And so
Mm.
shifting to when I launched Petite Keep, I think I learned like, you know, I was at corporate America feeling like I knew a lot of things. Then I came here and I was like, that 0 to 1 phase, I did not know anything
Yeah.
about. So, but to circle back to your question, P&G, it taught me so much about like prioritizing people first, prioritizing brand, making sure that you build brand and that is like the number one thing. And that, there's also like lots of systems in place, things like that, that I think we really take, as we build Petite Keep from the ground up.
So, what did you learn about your brand? I mean, that's always under construction. And you
Yeah.
clearly, when you were in college, you were building this leadership brand because of the opportunities you got there. Clearly, you can say you didn't know what you were doing when you started a business, but you knew what you were doing. I mean, we make mistakes along the way. We all do. But, like, what did you learn about yourself in your brand? How has that evolved?
Yeah, absolutely. It's a great question. What have I learned about myself? Well, I would say first and foremost, like, and are you saying like what did I learn about like who I
About
am
you?
as a
Yeah.
person?
Yeah, exactly. Hmm.
Absolutely. That like the passion has to be there, that I'm a hard worker and that I have grit. But it's like when those are synced with passion, right? And so like I'm obsessed with Petite Keep and I think about it all the time. And like that's where the grit and the hard work follow. And so I think that is certainly what, I learned. I think that a lot of that is teased out along the way, right? In new roles,
Sure.
things like that in your career.
So, launching a brand of your own, I mean, that takes a lot of different things. It takes confidence. It takes certainly talent. It takes an ability to see things, like see a vision and all that stuff. The other thing it takes is a little guts. I mean, where did you get that? Where did you get the, you know what, I'm going for this and whatever happens, happens at that point?
It does take guts. And honestly, like I am a risk averse person by nature, which is like not, I think a lot of people don't assume that being an entrepreneur, but I launched Petite Keep doing nights and weekends the first year in business. I still worked in corporate America and I was like, I need proof
Mhm.
of product market fit. I need to hit 6 figures. I need to, have X, Y, and Z milestone before I know I can like leave this career that I've like love and have built. And so it was very much like a nights and weekends love affair with Petite Keep. And then I think so. I think in a way, to answer your question, there was a bit of like I wasn't just like guts, but you're right. It does take guts. And I think for
Sure.
me, where there's proof, I have confidence. And so I had confidence that like we've hit this milestone and like there's enough people that are sitting here saying like, we need this, then I knew that Petite Keep had a place, in the world.
In addition to hosting this podcast, Kraig leads the Kann Advisory Group, focused on elevating communication for companies and individuals, company consulting, team and individual workshops, mind-altering virtual programs. To learn more and to find out why the Elevate workshop has been labeled the most powerful experience in leadership communication, visit canadvisory.com. And when you do connect, mention the Tracks to Success podcast to receive your special discount. Now, back to the interview.
Lindsay Mullenger is our guest on Tracks to Success. We're going to get a little more into the Shark Tank show. I want to talk more about the brand Petite Keep, all right? And you gave us a little insight, but the whole thing was born exactly how? Like, I now know what the brand is, all right? Custom trunks for experiences, keeping the most prized possessions. And trust me, I've talked to my girls about this already. We've had a big conversation. One just got married. So anyway, but did this happen because of your daughter and something that happened? Like, tell us that story.
Yes, absolutely. So I have 5 little kids, and my oldest is 8 years old, and I was pregnant with my second child and was organizing my oldest daughter's nursery, and I couldn't find anything that felt like meaningful and special enough to like tuck away just a few special things that I want to give to her in generations to come. So, asked friends across the country, canvassed the internet, couldn't find anything, and knew that it felt like there was a place. So absolutely it came from a personal need and has evolved continuously. Like, we listen to our customers, and we then, added bridal trunks, and we really have gone where our customer has asked us to go.
Okay. So let's dive into that a little bit. That's very cool. It's always something to our kids. We do so much with our kids. On the show, these trunks to help people store treasured memories. All right, I get that. That's great. That's cool. What was the differentiator, though, that got it across the finish line for them, that made them say, all right, we want equity, here's the cash, all that sort of stuff?
Well, I think they all saw the market size, right? They knew, like, they saw that it's a category creator. Petite Keep is a category creator. Like, we reinvented the way people think about keepsakes, the way they store their keepsakes, the way they relate with them. And they saw the market size and the amount of what it can become. Like, Petite Keep will be a 9-figure brand, and they saw that. And then they saw everything that our entire team, I think what people don't see is that there's 11 other like incredible entrepreneurs on my team that are like pouring into this brand every single day. And so they saw like everything that, is being set up for success. So we were really grateful.
Who intimidated you? Was it Mark Cuban?
He was so nice. No, he was wonderful. And he was wearing a Petite Keep blue suit, which I like walked in like, you're kidding me. This is amazing. Like, what a great coincidence. He was incredible, and he was very kind. She was amazing. They were all amazing. Like, I literally walked out of that segment and was like, wow, that could not have gone better. My husband and my 16-week-old baby were in the trailer, and I like went back to them and was just like, that couldn't have gone. Everyone was nice. No one intimidated. It was, even Mr. Wonderful was just, saying his things, but it was fine.
Okay, so maybe my numbers are off, but 400,000 in exchange for 15% equity, is that the ultimate deal? Did you say, I'm taking this and running, or were you like going, oh man, I just gave up too much. I just gave up 15%.
Yeah, no, I'm really grateful for the opportunity that, so I think in the, the tank, which all of America saw, like, I definitely was considering a lot of things. I mean, I've poured so much of who I am into this brand over the last 5 years, and things are really good and going really well. And so I think that's the other thing, is it wasn't like this dire situation, but I came to Shark Tank looking for a strategic partner. Like, that is what I wanted. And so it felt right, and it continues to feel like absolutely the right decision.
Okay, so you outgrew the house, you needed a warehouse, all that stuff. You just talked about other people pouring their heart and soul into it. Is your staff still all female? Is that true?
Yes, yes.
Why?
It's so
What's the
funny.
deal here? No guy can get involved in this at all. What if I said I
No, but
want in?
of course they can. Of course they can. We're equal opportunity employer. Absolutely. But we have the PK Palace is what we call it. It's our warehouse where we build the trunks here in St. Louis. And yeah, fully female team.
Crazy.
Looking for a guest speaker for your next event or annual conference? Kraig's message is inspiring and empowering. Visit kraigcanspeak.com to learn more about his topics and find out about his green shoe experience. It's a day your people will talk about long after he's gone. So visit kraigcanspeak.com and mention the Tracks to Success podcast to receive your special discount. Now, back to the show.
This podcast is called Tracks to Success. The track, I think you would agree with this, never a straight line. And I know you've got a long way to go in your career, ups, downs, turns, pivots, all that sort of stuff. And you've learned things along the way. So what's the toughest thing? I'm going to start with that. Toughest thing about running your own business?
It's a really good question. Because the reality is it, so many things are hard, but a lot of them are masked and like they're also like such a privilege. Like the fact that I get to wake up and do what I'm obsessed with. Like I'm like sometimes like there's something that's hard, but I'm like, wait, I love this so much. But the reality is I think that continuing, it's just like every day is like agility. Every day is I hate to use the word hard though, because I think like yes, it is hard, but like we can do hard things. And like
Mhm.
I love this. Like I am so positive about what I'm getting to do every single day.
Lindsay, I do workshops for Can Advisory Group with corporations and their sales teams and their marketing teams talking about various things. How do you present not just the brand, but present the best of yourself? I coach
Sure.
people to own a room. All right. You've had to learn to present not just the brand, but present yourself. One of the terms I use is how do we become sticky? How do we become memorable, right? Getting word of mouth marketing and so forth. Your brand is a sticky thing, I think, because people are keeping attached to certain memories. What about you? What's the key to presenting yourself? What would you tell other people who want to do what you do?
I think, if someone is like looking to build a brand or build a team, I think building with, the things that I would focus on, like as you're growing a team, for example, like people first, always like people
Mhm,
first.
mhm.
Brand also, brand is so important. That is something that anyone who knows me knows I'm like ruthlessly focused on. And I think as far as like who I am and as a personal brand, I'd say the other thing is just being like in the mix and available and accessible. Like
Mhm.
we are building something together, our entire team. So
Yeah. Um, Let me go back. I got a few things before I let you go. I want to go back to your time. You were working with the Duracell brand, right?
yes,
So I'm going to tie it in cheesy. It's fine. I'm sure your battery wears down. I mean, knowing you, you said 5 kids. You're trying to run a business. This
yes,
business is growing. I want to hear how you stay on top of your game. And I want you
right.
to tell our audience what your advice is on how not time management, but I like to talk about energy management. So I want to hear about that.
That's a good question, Craig. I'm honestly learning, right? Like, I think that that's like something that's very much a work in progress. PK, where we are today, the team was half the size last year. So, like, I'm
Mm,
learning, things are continuing to evolve. My family is obviously getting older, my children get older, so that looks different. I think at the end of the day, like I prioritize sleep and activity. So like being able to make sure I'm getting sleep and making sure I'm getting my workouts in, like those are two things that are kind of non-negotiables. But beyond that, like I have so much work to do on energy management. I think that's such a good call out. What are your favorite things? Like I'm so curious what you recommend.
I will tell you this. And one of the things I talk to people about is I start my week on Sunday night, not Monday. I think it's really important. And my philosophy is I want to be happy at 4:30 on Friday, not 5 o'clock, 4:30. And I want to be able to look back and see what I accomplished. So on Sunday night, I try to set a few goals for me that are going to make me my happiest at 4:30 on Friday afternoon. I can't tackle 10 things because sometimes if you tackle 10, you feel like you get none of them done. But I try to prioritize that and then I'm going to put my energy into that. So I talk about if you want to be relevant in business or life, then you better focus your energy on things that are relevant because there's a lot of other things that soak up our time that don't get on that. I'm not saying I'm perfect at it, trust me. But my advice is you start on Sunday night, you lay out your week. And then the other thing that I do is on one day a week, I will reach out to two people that I haven't connected with in a while. People that I want to stay connected with. Just checking in. No sale, no push, no nothing. And I think it's important to continue to build your network. Those are my thoughts.
Those are great thoughts, and I'm definitely going to take both of those with me. Thank you.
You're welcome. So as you look back on all of this, what are you most proud of?
I'm just proud of where PK is today and the people that I'm getting to work alongside who are brilliant, and the fact that we're building a brand that is like people are bringing us into, their bridal showers, into their baby showers, into their nurseries, at their wedding day. Like when my husband and I were like daydreaming about this back in like 2019 before we officially launched, like I remember writing on a whiteboard, like I want Petite Keep to be like the most desired baby shower gift. And I do think there are so many, like every day we're getting like tens of pictures of like Petite Keep showing up at bridal showers, text messages, all the things. So I'm really proud of what we're doing. We're making a positive impact on a population of people, and really grateful, filled with gratitude that they're bringing us into their, highest highs of their life.
Two final questions, one maybe a bit more challenging than the other. And that would be, what are your biggest challenges moving forward? What's the thing that, if you aren't getting enough sleep, that you might be worried about?
Of course, that's a great question. Well, we have, as you mentioned, a new warehouse that we are setting kind of from the ground up. And as we continue to grow very quickly, just like the in-house, building the trunks, like it's a custom trunk. We're not like sending out
Mhm.
1,000 units every day of like the same thing. So I think operations continues to be like a really exciting challenge for us as we learn and grow. I mean, most digitally native brands are working with 3PLs, and I think we're just, we're considering it differently. So that's definitely something that is an exciting challenge. Um, is that what, did you have a second question?
Yeah, are you worried about anything that you could, sometimes a brand gets too big, right? They lose the focus on staying in their lane, or they don't do one thing. All of a sudden they're trying to do 10 things. You look at a menu at a restaurant, they got 30 things on there. How do you stay
Sure.
narrow and hit your target?
It's a great question. We on our team a lot often say, let the main thing be the main thing. Like we are
Mm,
very focused that we sell trunks. We sell
yeah.
personalized keepsake trunks, and we are going to be the best personalized keepsake trunk company. But as our team grows and continues, doubles in size, etc., like I have full confidence that our team is incredible and amazing, focus on that. But it is like is a new challenge of like, how do we continue to cascade information across our team the same way, things like that. And so again, that goes back to this. Like, I feel like it's such a privilege to get to sit here and have these like challenges on our desks.
So, how can people find it? I don't have a bridal shower coming anytime soon, but maybe somebody does. How do
Yes.
they find your web? Where can they get it? Where can they get your stuff?
They can find Petite Keep at petitekeep.com. We're also on Instagram at Petite Keep, which is a great place to see the way that people have used their trunks. And I'm on Instagram as well at Lynn's at Petite Keep.
Okay. So here's the last question. I said it was the easy one. Are you a regular at Mizzou home games? Like, do you make the trek to Columbia to go back and see football games in the fall and basketball and all that stuff?
I would love to be. I've had 5 kids in the last 7 years. So unfortunately, life has pulled me in, fortunately, in a lot of ways, pulled me other ways. But so I haven't been in Columbia as often as I have wanted to be. I've been there a couple times in the last couple of
Okay.
years. But I'll be bringing all my Tigers to the home games soon.
There you go. You can brainwash them like I did for mine. And that you just need to build, all I ask is you build this one big trunk. It might not be petite, but it's got to be for tailgates. You got to find a way to do a tailgate trunk. I don't know what it is. There's my one idea, and I want equity in that.
Who's doing Mizzou licensing? We need to link up with them.
Yeah, let's do it. Hey, I'm really proud of what you've done. I think it's great. Forget the alum aspect of it. I think your story's terrific. I know a lot of people that would be watching this or listening to this probably saw it all live. And I know you got big things ahead. I cannot thank you enough for spending some time on Tracks to Success. I appreciate it.
Thank you for the opportunity. Thank you so much.
Friends, success isn't just about the look of your resume. It's about the way you look, and dressing for success in the workplace is important. The way you look out of the workplace is part of your brand as well. Ahead, our official headwear partner, is all about helping you show off your best self. A hat says a lot about you, and Ahead doesn't just follow trends, they set them. Available at pro shops, resorts, and big sporting events around the country, and also online. By listening to this podcast, you get a chance to save big. Visit aheadusashop.com, use the code TTS30, and receive 30% off your order. That's aheadusashop.com, using the code TTS30. 30% off just for you. Ahead, the finest brand in headwear and the official headwear of Tracks to Success. It's time for getting ahead. And a couple of things I want to talk about tied to Lindsay. She's super impressive, and I hope you enjoyed the conversation. The two things are this. Number one, the importance of self-belief. And number two, the importance at some time in your career of taking a risk. Now, I know Lindsay talked about those things in our conversation, but I want to tie them together with a couple of experiences that I've had on my own in talking with others. I know a lot of really talented people, stars in their field or their industry, tops, best of the best. Some have lost a job, maybe been laid off, furloughed, whatever it might be, or leaving a job no longer fulfilling to them. And many of them are curious about potentially doing something different or going in a different direction. And so they'll reach out to me. At that point, I ask them a question. I know you're talented, but are you willing to consider doing something you might not have thought of? They say, what's that? I say, that is betting on yourself, taking a risk, going your own direction, maybe starting a business on your own, maybe being a consultant, or maybe a role that you never even thought you might take that could even be a step down to ultimately take a step forward. That makes people nervous. The message here is this. I'm not telling people to quit a job. I'm not telling people to do anything completely drastic. But what I am challenging people with, and I'm challenging you as well, at times, think about getting outside your comfort zone. You know what? The best things that have ever happened to any of us don't come from inside our comfort zone. They come from outside the comfort zone. So push yourself. I'm telling you, bet on yourself, bet on your talents, be confident in that. I guarantee you, you'll feel really great at the end, and your tracks to success might actually come a whole lot easier. Hope you enjoyed that conversation with Lindsay. We'll do another one soon, right here on Tracks to Success. I'm Kraig Kann. We'll see you next time.
Don't forget to subscribe to the show for more great interviews and Kraig's thoughts on reaching your highest personal and professional summit. Find it wherever you get your podcasts and on the Kraig Kann YouTube channel and kraigkannspeak.com.